Florida is bracing for the impact of a second monster storm nearly back to back. The wave of misinformation and disinformation from the last one has been rampant, hampering at times search and recovery efforts, and in many cases being pushed by President Biden's political opponents for their own political gain.
It's un-American. It really is. People are scared to death. People know their lives are at stake. All that they've worked for, all that they own, all that they value.
I sourced tonight a Republican congressman from one of the areas hardest hit by Hurricane Helene. Representative Chuck Edwards of North Carolina is taking it upon himself to try and debunk some of what's being pushed about what's happening in his state. He represents Western North Carolina. And thank you, Congressman, for being here, because I was struck by your post today, and you wrote that you don't think the FEMA response has been perfect, but you said the rumors are just so outrageous that they had to be addressed. And you shoot down that Helene was somehow engineered by the government, that you say FEMA's not stopping trucks and confiscating supplies, the FAA is not restricting airspace from recovery operations, FEMA's not diverting disaster funds to the border to foreign aid. How much of this were you hearing from your constituents?
Well, the rumors certainly have been growing. Now, I'm not going to defend FEMA's honor. They've made a lot of mistakes. They continue to make a lot of mistakes in our recovery efforts here. But I was simply finding that all of the rumor, the falsities were more getting in the way of us trying to help the people here in Western North Carolina recover from Helene.
Well, and I think there's a world where you can not like something FEMA's done or criticize it or ask them to do better, but also not spread blatant conspiracies and lies that you had to debunk. How bad was it that you felt the need to put this information out there?
Well, I was getting a number of calls and emails and texts from folks that claimed to have firsthand accounts that they were turned away with supplies or not able to help. And every single one of those rabbit holes, I went down. I chased it, trying to find contact information, and I wasn't able to corroborate one single one of those stories. And again, there are a lot of things I'd like to see FEMA do differently, but they're not out guarding roads and turning people away and confiscating equipment and merchandise.
Given that so much of these myths and lies are being spread by members of your own party, does it anger you because it makes your life harder?
Well, our life here in Western North Carolina is difficult enough right now. And I can't speak to what anyone else's experience has been, any other member of Congress or political candidate. I can only say from my perspective of the boots on the ground here in Western North Carolina that I don't see the things happening that folks have been out there on social media saying have been happening.
Yeah, I just think, the first thing you fact checked was something I've even heard from people in Alabama, where I'm from. This idea of this storm being geoengineered by the government. I mean, that was essentially something that your colleague Marjorie Taylor Greene was arguing, saying they can control the weather, it can be manipulated. Obviously, Trump was saying the money was being used for undocumented immigrants. It's just, it's like nothing you've ever seen before.
Well, I think that we all agree there is money being used for undocumented immigrants that should not be happening. And as far as any other member of Congress, I'm not sure of their perspective. I'm only speaking from my perspective here in Western North Carolina and trying to help so many people that are affected by a storm recover. There was a great concern by a number of folks that if they were led to believe that FEMA was confiscating much needed goods and water, that folks might quit sending goods and water to Western North Carolina. And I certainly don't need that to be taking place right now.
And what I was saying earlier, with that, it was what was being spread was from Marjorie Taylor Greene. You shot that down, obviously, immediately. But quickly, you said that FEMA's not doing a perfect job. What specifically would you like to see them do differently?
Oh my goodness, that list gets pretty long. First of all, it took way too long for them to get here to Western North Carolina. We knew the storm was coming 2 days ahead. It still took more than 3 days. My calculation is it took about 80 hours before we saw the first representatives from FEMA. One county that I represent, it took 6 days for them to get there. We still don't have mobile trailers that folks have asked for, that my counties have asked for. We still don't have FEMA stations set up where folks can come in and
Yeah.
make applications and get answers. I had one constituent tell me they made an application. They were initially denied, and then they got 3 additional letters from FEMA and emails, all contradictive to one another.
Okay, Congressman.
This,
Well, and obviously we'll check in with you. We want to follow up with those things. I do want to thank you for your time tonight. I know you're very busy, Congressman Chuck Edwards.